Hello, welcome back to Our Vision Farm. Today we are going to be getting our watermelon plants into the ground finally. We had sort of a heat wave pass through the last 2 days, but today it cooled down enough so I'm comfortable planting our watermelons in the ground so they don't suffer that transplant shock where if we would have done it while it was too hot. So we're heading to the garden now. We already have our little area tilled where we're going to put all of our watermelons this year. It's the same spot we planted them in last year and we have it tilled and ready. So let's enter into the garden. So this is the spot where last year we grew some watermelon and the acorn squash, but this year we dedicated it just to watermelons. We have 3 varieties of watermelons. They're all mixed up here, but this is what the little plants are looking like. They have the little vines starting to grow out. So we planted these a lot smaller last year and we did lose a couple to transplant shock. So what I wanted to do this year was wait till they were a lot bigger and healthier plants. We've been hardening them off outside in the sun. So now I feel like it's a good day since it's nice and cool, overcast, and we're supposed to get rain in the next couple of days. So that'll be perfect for the watermelon. So this is going to be our watermelon patch. It's between our garlic and then we have some flowers, some bulb flowers growing here. But all of this will be watermelon this year instead of watermelon and acorn squash. So we already have it tilled and ready. We just have to get the plants in the ground. We're going to put some soil into the holes where we plant the watermelon and just keep our eye on them, make sure they're very well watered. So I'm not sure how many plants we have, but it's definitely enough to fill in this whole little patch right here. And this year we're planting yellow watermelon, which is the one we grew last year. We also have an orange watermelon, should be about the same size as last year's, and we also started a sugar baby watermelon seeds. So those are smaller and they're red inside. So we're trying out 3 colors this year, and then the red ones should definitely be riper faster than the bigger ones, because our goal this year is to get some type of red watermelon, since last year the frost that came in October killed all of our moon and star watermelons, so we weren't able to try a red variety. But the garden is looking good so far. I will do a little garden tour. There's a lot of weeds and stuff, but I'll show you what we have growing after we get these watermelon plants in the ground. Just finished planting the watermelon patch. I counted 18 plants inside of this wide row, and we have a couple left that we're going to plant in a different spot, but these are a mix of all 3 varieties. We'll have to see which is which once they start growing. And that's all 18 of them planted in here. Probably a little too close, but we're going to keep them trimmed up and pruned so that they don't drift too much to the left where we have onions and too far to the right where we have garlic and the electric fence. So that's pretty much what we did last year, pruned them a lot so that they don't take over the whole garden area. But that's all 18 of those planted. We have 3 more we're going to put in a different spot on the far right of the garden. So here's what we have growing so far. This row is garlic, and we have it running down all along here. So this whole row is garlic. It's just hard to see because there's a lot of grass to the left of it, but that's garlic. Then we'll have watermelon next to the garlic. Next to the watermelon over here, it's a type of bulb flower, and I don't really care if the watermelon overtake this. These are just flowers that our neighbor had given us last year, bulbs, and they've already flowered for this year. So they're just gonna kind of die off through the summer and come back next spring. So if the watermelons overtake this, that is okay with me. I don't really care about those too much. Then to the right of that is our onions. So that's what our onions are looking like. We have purple onions and yellow onions all down this row. Let me walk all the way to the end. So where the onions finish, we have some sunflowers. We kind of just toss these seeds in here. And we also transplanted a lot of sunflowers when we were tilling our whole garden this year. We had a lot of volunteer sunflowers from our seeds last year. So we kind of just stuck them all throughout this garden. Like you'll see them here. We transplanted them. These are beets. We heavily sowed them because I think we're just going to try to harvest the beet greens this year, not the actual beets. These are just microgreen seeds that we're trying to use up. So we heavily sowed them so that when they grow, we can harvest and sell the greens. They don't really produce a very good sized beet for eating, maybe for pickling. The beets are really, really tiny. So that is that row. Next to the beets, these are also radish seeds that were microgreen seeds. Again, we were just trying to use them up. They're already flowering, so it's good for the pollinators. These will make little seed pods that you can actually eat the seed pods if you pick them green enough. So maybe I can try pickling that because they had a lot of seed pods last year. So they've already flowered. Then some of these will actually produce radishes too. And I noticed that the more you pick them, the bigger the radishes get as they have more space to grow. But I'm not sure, since they've already flowered. I don't know if they'll produce any radishes, but really I just planted them to get rid of the seeds. It helps the pollinators with the flowers. They look pretty. I can use the flowers in arrangements too once we start getting more flowers in our garden. Over here we have zucchinis. We planted zucchini and some yellow squash, just one row worth. I didn't want to plant too much. This was just kind of a last minute thing we threw in. So we planted them directly from seeds not too long ago. They're already looking like this, so that is good. That goes all the way down the row. And then the next one, I don't see anything on this row. Let me see what's the next thing. We have a lot of rows still available. We just have to kind of re-till or hand weed and then plant some more seeds. We've already planted all of our transplant things. So here, no, nothing here. I thought there was something. So that row's available for planting. This is a thyme plant that overwintered and it grew back even bigger this year. So the next one here is cucumbers. So we have pickling cucumbers. There's different type of cucumbers here. This one's already flowering, but this whole row is cucumbers. This is some other type of, maybe this one is zucchini and the other one was yellow squash, but that looks like the same thing all the way down this row. Then we have our peppers. Pepper plants, a variety of bell peppers, spicy peppers, that reaches all the way down to the end. Next to peppers we have green beans, mixture of yellow green beans, regular green beans. I don't think we did any purple ones this year, but that whole row to the end is green beans. And then the green around it is just weeds. And we'll just pass the tiller through there to get all those weeds. After the green beans, over here we have, these are regular radishes, a combination of different ones, French breakfast radishes, white radishes. We planted a variety, so that reaches to the end. So next to the radishes, there's nothing on this row, and then we have the tomatoes. So this whole row is tomatoes. I think we planted 50 tomatoes. A couple of them did die, but the ones that did survive are looking nice and beginning to flower. So that's all tomatoes, and we used T-post this year to help trellis them. And I believe that is it. We had some tulips here, but we're going to till this area. And we have the watermelons that we had left over from over there. We're gonna put those in here, and some melons. We have some melon seeds that we want to try out. Not seeds, but little plants. And we'll stick them in here. So we'll do like a second melon patch on this far right. And then we're gonna cut all this down, these tall grasses, and then the melons can go out of the garden if they want to. So what we're going to do now is till this whole block right here to plant the rest of the watermelons and those melons, and that'll be it for this side. That's all that's going to go on this side, but we still have plenty of empty rows to work with to plant more things and to plant more of the same things, more cucumbers, more zucchinis, lots of more radishes, and anything else we may decide. We didn't do any winter greens or carrots this year, so we wanted to focus on easy to grow and easy to pick and easy to clean things. So that is all we got so far, and eventually we will fill up all the rows, just kind of trying to do some succession planting, not planting everything at once, but so that we can continue to harvest throughout the whole season. This is only the beginning. So that is what we have so far, and that is the next task that we're going to do, is planting those watermelon and the melons. Alright, so we finished with the watermelons. We've planted our pumpkins already. We planted them where we did last year. We did a couple more little patches than we did last year. The last project I want to work on is planting the last of our honeyberries, which we have one last variety to plant on our row that we already tilled. So these are 3 rows. Right now we're currently working on saving all our grass clippings to till all this, because you see all the wild daisies and grasses that we can't really get with the lawnmower. We've been hand pulling weeds around the actual honeyberries themselves, but to get all this grass and stuff down, we're going to just squash it down with grass clippings. These are the 3 new rows that we did this year. So this is one, and they're doing really good. We haven't had to water. The rain has been taking care of the watering for us. The second one is here. This is our Carmine Jewels, which we also have to mulch with grass clippings, but those are doing really good. So we started the second row, and then that is the 3rd row over there where we're going to plant today. And then I'll show you how the honeyberries are doing. They're doing really good. We've been picking berries from them, surprisingly. This is only year 2 for them. Let me try to find one with berries on it. I did pick all the berries the other day, but the plants are doing really beautiful. They have grown a lot since year 1. Here's one with just a couple berries on it. Depending on the variety, the berries are smaller, some of them are bigger, some of the plants are bushier, some are taller. And we've been taste testing them and kind of learning like the perfect ripeness. And when they're really, really ripe, they remind me of a blue Jolly Rancher. They are that sweet and like with a little bit of tartness. When they're not ripe enough, They taste a little sour, like a underripe blueberry, kind of like that, a little tart. Sometimes they have a little bitter aftertaste if you pick them too soon. But they say honeyberries or Hasket berries are actually not ripe until a week to a week and a half after they turn blue. So you want to let them continue getting ripe. So that is a little bit of a bigger one. Here's some more that are not quite ready yet. So I have been picking and freezing since we don't have a whole lot of berries. It's very scattered. I've been just picking and freezing and then mixing it with other berries picked on our property, like the wild strawberries. Once we have the wild blackberries come in, once we have our raspberries and some other couple fruits from our farm, I'm just gonna combine everything that we have saved and frozen and make a jam or a jelly out of it. So that's the goal for this year, since we don't have a whole lot of honeyberries. But surprisingly, we've been harvesting little handfuls. I have like a pint container full so far, just from these plants that we just put in the ground last year. So that is pretty exciting. So today we're finishing the 6th row of honeyberries. And then we're gonna keep going that way. Not sure how far we're gonna take it because it does get a little bit wet at the far end. But we're gonna keep tilling rows that way. So next year we could put in another 3 varieties. We have 6 varieties so far. So our goal is to plant as many as we can. There's plenty of varieties and they keep coming out with different ones, so I don't think we'll ever run out of varieties to plant. We just have to make sure that all of them are compatible with each other. The rows that we're planting next to each other, they have to be compatible so that they are able to pollinate. So that's a bit of the tricky part, is just doing your research and planting things next to each other that work. So that's what we've been doing. That's what we will continue doing at the far end until we'll probably stop at some point when it gets too wet over there, but until this is a full orchard. And then we also have to the right space, but we've been growing pumpkins there. This is the 2nd year we're growing pumpkins. We put a pear tree over there and maybe some more fruit trees we'll sprinkle into this whole orchard area. We left plenty of space in between the rows. We get a lot of wildflowers, so that helps with pollination. And I'm not sure how big exactly. I'd have to research again how big each variety gets, like how wide it's gonna get, to see how much space we would have in between these rows in case we want to utilize it for something else. Maybe some raspberries, black raspberries, or some other fruit trees that might stay smaller, like the Carmine Jewel, bush cherries, and things like that. But let me go ahead and help the kids and we will get all these planted today, and then we could say that we are done planting honeyberries for this year. And the ones we have planted so far are doing great, so that is exciting without having to water or nothing. So these plants are very resilient. We've been getting a lot of rain, but they are very drought tolerant. Of course, they are cold tolerant, and they're very pest tolerant. There's not really a lot of pests that eat them. The deer haven't bothered them at all either. The Carmine Jewels, the deer ate them last year in the fall time, but as you can see, they have bounced back really nice, lots of new growth, and they're starting to even come out of the cage, where last year they were really close to the ground. So they have been bushing out really nicely, and each single one that we have is doing good. So maybe we'll plant some more of those in the future in between the honeyberry rows, since we have so much space, but we'll see where we go from here. We're gonna get this planted and call it done for this year, and just continue working on the garden, keeping our things pruned, harvesting as needed. We'll be doing harvesting videos this summer, of course, and the flower garden is starting to bloom too. I have to do a separate video on that. We're starting to see some color in there, so I'll do a separate video on that one. But this is our last project for today, is getting these honeyberries into the ground. The kids are doing a great job at digging our holes. We're planting them 5 feet apart, and each row is about 10 feet spaced out, and the actual plants are 5 feet apart, giving them plenty of space to grow. These plants don't get huge, but you do want to allow them space to grow, or if you want to grow them in more of a hedge, you can plant them closer together. But anyway, we're gonna get this done. I hope you guys enjoyed our video of our projects for today. My husband is cutting grass, saving mulch clippings, grass clippings to use as mulch. And that is pretty much what we're going to get achieved for today on our property. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend or the rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video and update.